Hi, everyone. I'm Steve. I'm here with David Wright, who is a personal trainer at Parkway Athletic Club. Thanks for being here, David.
Thanks for having me, Steve.
We always have good conversations. So we're going to talk about exercise. You and I are both big into it, lifting weights. So first, my opinion, let's clarify, we're talking about lifting weights. And if you're going to pick one type of exercise to do, it would be, in my opinion, lifting weights. Period. So if you guys are interested in our weight loss program, use the QR code on the screen or the link in the description. You can find out more about that. David is one of our nutrition coaches. So we're going to talk about the most important type of resistance training. It's for all ages, but especially as you get older. You're in your 40s, I'm in my 60s, and it's the really hot thing in gyms right now, even outside of gyms, and that's functional exercise. So what does that mean to you?
So, functional exercise can seem to mean a lot of different things to different people. So, when we look at different types of exercise, functional exercise is going to be something where you are still doing a form of resistance training. So, I'm going to kind of step off to the side for a second on that just to clarify, because when I say resistance training, that confuses sometimes people. What does that mean? What's resistance? Like what does that mean in terms of training? Resistance training, of course, as you mentioned, lifting weights is one of the best things that you can do. So that resistance is literally using any kind of body weight, dumbbells, barbells, whatever the case might be. That's the resistance. So you're pushing or pulling some type of weight. And it doesn't have to be, a specific piece of equipment or a machine at the gym. Like you said, there's outdoor things you could do. So when we switch back to the topic of what is functional training is going to be any kind of exercise or exercise routine, if you will. And that's going to be something that doesn't necessarily involve, say, weight equipment. You could be doing different things that strengthen a specific part of your body with just body weight exercise and different things like that. So for instance, we have here at Parkway Athletic Club, along with a lot of clubs have a TRX suspension trainer is a great example of a functional exercise where you're using your own body weight, several different, well, probably dozens, if not hundreds of different exercises you can do with those things. The whole point is you can get a lot of different exercise done to strengthen your body and also at the same time a lot of times get a good stretch out of it too, depending on what you're doing and how you're doing it. But you're getting that movement in, you are using some resistance, typically body weight, and you're able to get a really good workout. And it is pretty fundamental in terms of being able to continue to, let's say, go do barbell or dumbbell exercises. You have to have that functional foundation down first, because you can't just, safely at least go down to, say, a bench press and just start going like you know what you're doing or have the strength or mobility and those types of things unless you functionally your muscles are ready for that type of exercise. So it's important to understand that.
And let me just get a little deeper into that. And especially if you're younger, start now, because functional exercise relates to your daily movement, the
Mhm.
things that you do during the day, like getting off the couch. If you don't keep your strength up enough with the right movements, eventually you won't be able to get off the couch. You'll be stuck there. Now, I'm kind of being silly, but getting out of a chair, walking to the mail, standing up straight, your daily activity where you use your muscles and your cardio strength to do things. And you want to continue to be able to do those. Now, if you're younger, you're probably, oh, that's boring. Yeah, that's because you can do it all now. But the sooner you start doing functional exercises, multiple joint movements, flipping a tire. Why flipping a tire? Because you're using a lot of muscles in your body and you're using them together. That's a functional movement. Doing step ups on a block, battle ropes, pushing a sled, my favorite. Y'all know if you watch the channel or watch any of my shorts, pushing a sled, my favorite. Pushing and pulling a sled. You're working every muscle in your body to a degree, but you're working them in unison like they work in your daily activities. And a lot of these sports coaches, fitness coaches, these experts, they advocate for this because that's how your body works on a daily basis. And it's the best way to really build muscle is to work your body as a unit because that's how it wants to work when you leave the gym or before you're in the gym.
Yeah, and a good kind of segue to that, Steve, is I have some of my own personal training clients where a big thing that especially as we get older, the hip area and all of the muscles associated with the hips are very important to keep mobile and doing those things. So one of the things that you want to make sure, and you don't have to be of a specific age, it's good to keep them moving now. Like you were talking about being funny as far as being able to get up off the couch, but in all reality, that sometimes is very difficult for people. And it's not only if, let's say, you're really overweight or something like that, it could have nothing to do with that. It's that movement in your hips and being able to get up out of this chair that I'm in and those types of things. That takes that hip movement to be able to do that, and the whole body kind of working together to get you standing upright. Now, with hips as a perfect example, not only when you're functionally able to do different exercises that work the hips, bodyweight squats, TRX squats, different things, even pushing the sled, because what are we doing? We're pushing that sled, we're using those glutes and those legs, your different muscles are moving. You're keeping those things going and you're kind of building them at the same time. Is it a lot of weight per se in terms of, is it the same as I'm going to go do a barbell squat with 300 pounds? No, but that's not what we're looking at for functional. Functional, like you said, is basically being able to mirror your function that you do every day. So those different body parts will work together, your body will work. So when I go back to the hips, it's all about, I'll have people do certain things that I would, prescribe to them as a personal trainer for them. But one of the most important parts is, the hips are very important and central to being able to stand, sit, not get injured, during a fall, or less injured, because that's very easy to be injured in the hip area. So that is one of those things, when we sit too much, we get really tight there and we're not actually moving, elongating those muscles. And that's a whole nother video. But it's very important to do those types of functional movements, whether you have an issue with that area or not. You want to prevent an issue. That's the whole point. So you want to be able to do different things like the sled, like the battle ropes, like flipping a tire. The other part that's really good to this is, with like the battle ropes and the tire and pushing the sled, it's also some cardio in there. So just as a side note, so not only are all these different types of muscles working together in unison to complete whatever you're telling it to do, it's also some cardio. So that helps, with your cardiovascular health. So there's a lot of, functional exercises that you can do that don't involve a whole bunch of weights or tons of equipment or any of that kind of stuff. And you can get a great workout, but most importantly, you can keep your body functioning the way it needs to, and those muscles, nice and worked out and warmed up so they don't get tight and then lead to more injury.
Yeah. And you guys, just if you don't have access to a health club or a gym or a personal trainer, you can look this stuff up online. The benefits of just ask AI, show me some different functional exercises that I can do in the park or I can do outside. Start doing them, because 1 pound of muscle is precious. Losing 1 pound of muscle is bad. Gaining 1 pound of muscle is good. It will change everything about you. Put muscle on. I'm in my 60s and I still maintain. Sometimes I go through spurts. My protein's really high right now. My hormones are dialed in, and I don't put muscle. Well, it's always been hard for me to put muscle on because I've always been a hard gainer, but you can do it, especially if you're a beginner. I'm not a beginner. I've been lifting weights since I was in first grade, putting weights on a broomstick. You can do it, especially if you're a beginner. It's exciting because you can make great results, but do functional exercises. Most health clubs will help you out. You don't need to buy personal training. You can if you want. I recommend it. Almost every club, our clubs do, will give you an assessment and show you what to do. They're not going to just throw you to the wolves. They're going to show you how to turn the treadmill on. They're going to show you how to do the basics. That comes with our membership. And it comes with most health clubs memberships. So ask them. They'll help you. They're not there just to take your money. At least I hope not. They're there to help you. So it's the front desk. Hey, I have a question for a personal trainer. They're not going to say, nope, 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 not going to tell you. If they do say that, you might consider a different club.
Oh, yeah.
Find out what this is. If you guys have questions, put them in the comment section. We're happy to give you our opinions. David, any last thoughts?
Yeah, I think that's a great point as far as, whether it's Parkway, which obviously we'd love for you to come to one of our clubs. But if you're, across the country and you've got a club down the street of, some other kind, it's a health club. That's great. And like you said, a lot of them do offer a similar type of idea to what we have, some kind of a introductory session with a personal trainer. And people sometimes, actually, a lot of people here do take advantage of that and learn some things. And even if you're a seasoned lifter or somebody who maybe lifted for a long time and has stopped for a while and is kind of getting back on track, take advantage of that. That's something, generally, if it's offered to you, for either inexpensive or free or whatever, take advantage of that. It's priceless, really, to have a personal trainer, to just get, more results, new ideas, all those types of things. But if you're not necessarily going to get a personal trainer, there's no harm in at least trying out for some time with a trainer. Get to know some of these functional exercises, get to know some different things that maybe you didn't know. A lot of times in my introductions with people, I'll show them things that they had no idea, that, this silly resistance band thing or some other stuff that I do, they had no idea that this stuff even existed, or they saw people doing it and go, that's really easy, until they do it and went, wow, this is actually something that's not as easy as I thought. So you learn some things, you get some good knowledge, and then you go from there. But it's always good to take advantage of that if it's available to you.
Yeah, and even if you buy 1, 2, 3 workout programs, now you got a program. Now you got a workout program that you can use for months. And when you're choosing a gym, you want it to be close to your neighborhood or close to work, because it has to be convenient. Just trust me on this. Make sure the access, getting to the gym is convenient, because if it's not, you're going to find excuses why not to go. So make sure it's convenient. And the second thing, make sure you like it. Make sure you like what they have there. Make sure you like their equipment. Make sure you like the feel of it. Those two things. And you know what? I wouldn't put a lot of emphasis on the price. If you want to do this, you're going to do this, because your health club membership is going to be your cheapest bill of the month. Your energy bill is going to be more, your gas bill, your water bill, your garbage bill, everything, maybe not your garbage bill, but almost every bill you have is going to be less or be more expensive than your health club membership. So find one that you like that's convenient, whether you live in Tennessee or Michigan or Oklahoma, or wherever you are. Find something that's convenient, easy to get to, and something that you like. All right. So, David, if people want to follow you on social media, how do they do that?
So they can follow me on Instagram at DavidWright_fitness. That's my kind of my health journey, my fitness journey, men's physique competition prep and everything. Kind of see that all on that channel. And then at Right Fitness Training, also on Instagram as well, for more of a personal training site.
All right. We'll talk to you next time.
Thanks, Dave.